Good morning, everyone. It has been 31 days since unprecedented fires engulfed our city. It's been 31 days since the Palisades was destroyed and lives were changed forever. It's been 31 days since our whole nation was inspired by the bravery of firefighters, police officers, and countless first responders who fought for days on end without rest to protect Los Angeles. So I want to thank our first responders. You are our heroes. Give them a round of applause. I want to thank our City Council, especially Councilwoman Tracy Park, our Board of Supervisors, Chairwoman Catherine Barger, Supervisor Lindsay Horvat. It has been an honor to work alongside you to rebuild the Palisades. And I want to thank our governor and our state legislators for their continued effort. And I want to thank President Trump and his administration for making it clear that the administration is committed to rebuilding our great city. It's been 31 days since we launched the largest disaster recovery operation in the history of the city, focused on the Palisades. In the first week, our firefighters worked urgently to protect neighborhoods. We worked to secure the Palisades, surging law enforcement, and working with the National Guard to protect the area from looting. By the beginning of the second week, while the fire was only 18% contained, we continued to support our firefighters. I issued an emergency declaration in collaboration with the county on debris removal from all impacted areas and appointed Steve Soboroff to lead phase 1 of the recovery effort. In the second week, we opened the Disaster Recovery Center at the Old West Side Pavilion, where more than 70 city, county, state, and federal agencies, along with nonprofits, are co-located. So today I'm proud to say that over 6,000 Angelenos and their families have gone through the center. By the third week, we faced down the threat of rain and mudslides, it never stops, by securing and placing more than 7,000 feet of concrete barriers and 6,000 sandbags in the communities and bluffs. And in week 4, we finally hit 100% containment. Recovery and rebuilding continues in Los Angeles. To the Palisades, I want to say that LA is with you. LA will stand with you until the Palisades is completely rebuilt and your families return home. We are going to be all in on rebuilding your home, your neighborhood, and your future. Now, public safety is always our #1 concern, and it's our #1 concern in the recovery effort as well. I directed the LAPD to intensify patrols in the fire-affected areas to prevent looting and trespassing. In week 4, our city inspectors have assessed all of the more than 15,000 structures in the Palisades, and we've replaced thousands of trash bins and restored trash service. We have cut through red tape, and we are just getting started. So, for example, as of now, the U.S. EPA has 1,000 people on the ground, and as of yesterday, the EPA reported inspecting more than 3,100 properties, and they've already cleared toxins from over 800 properties. The EPA process of debris removal and cleanup was projected to take 90 days, but the EPA is now reporting that phase 1, hazardous waste removal, should be completed by the end of this month. We've worked closely with the EPA, and yesterday I was with the EPA Administrator, Lee Zeldin. I had an opportunity to congratulate him for his appointment. I worked with him for 8 years in Congress, and I told him, and we shared, that we will look forward to working together again. We have hired more people from multiple departments in order to continue expediting rebuilding. And while we're focusing on rebuilding, we must help people now. So we deployed the online LA Disaster Relief Navigator, which has helped more than 1,000 people download their action plans for recovery. So now you can get help online in addition to going to the Disaster Recovery Center. And so for impacted businesses, we extended the deadline to file city business tax from February 28th to April 14th. And for the workforce in the Palisades, including the gardeners, the housekeepers, the nannies, the employees in the commercial businesses, the Economic and Workforce Development Department's Rapid Response Team is hosting regular virtual wildfire job loss orientation where Angelenos who were impacted by the fire can learn how to access job opportunities, unemployment benefits, and health care. We've been collaborating with the California Community Foundation to provide direct financial assistance to impacted workers, and the foundation has raised more than $50 million from 36,000 donors. People around the city and around the country are all standing in solidarity with us and doing everything they can to help Los Angeles. Through an executive directive, we are assisting in clearing the way for schools and child care centers to relocate and then reopen. And we've also helped to make it easier for impacted young people to enroll in school. We've eliminated red tape to ensure that the rebuilding of the Palisades will be swift and residents and property will be safe. Now, while much has been done over the last 2 weeks, much, much more needs to be done, including participating in the review, evaluation, and critique of everything, and then quickly acting on recommendations. So I will work in collaboration with the governor's office to conduct a comprehensive, independent review of the state and local response. In the meantime, the Los Angeles Fire Commission will do an independent investigation on the response. It will be headed by Tyler Eisen, the Commission independent assessor. Now, while I continue to join forces with our public, private, and nonprofit and philanthropic partners, the rebuilding of the Palisades is being led through my office. First, we have selected Hagerty, a world-class disaster recovery firm, to provide expertise and operational support to facilitate our comprehensive recovery effort. Hagerty will focus on implementing the city's vision for community resilience, infrastructure restoration, and environmental mitigation. This firm will report directly to Jim Featherstone, who I appointed to oversee the city's Emergency Operations Center's recovery group. Jim was the former head of the city's Emergency Management Department and former interim LA Fire Chief. Under my leadership and his leadership, this group is organizing, coordinating, and advancing recovery, keeping me updated moment by moment. And my friend, civic leader, and your former Palisade neighbor, Steve Soberoff, is our Phase 1 Chief Recovery Officer. He is also our Palisades ambassador, who lived in Palisades for more than 40 years as a civic leader and neighborhood builder. I think Steve is very well known for leading the effort and creating, essentially, Playa Vista, the Staples Center. I could go on and on. Steve will lead the rebuilding of the historic village of the Palisades, the library, the park, the playground. I remember when we were there, there's a plaque near the rec center talking about Steve, because Steve helped build or renovate the recreation center, the library, and the playground several years ago. So he was told it was going to take years, but he was actually able to do that job in 4 months. So he was brought on to really kick off our recovery effort, and he has already been a guiding force in supporting the Palisades and navigating the early weeks of the recovery. So these have been a defining 30 days for our city, for our commitment, and effort is really underway. So over the next 60 days, we are going to make further progress through an all-in, all-hands-on-deck effort. We are continuing to identify antiquated red tape restrictions so Palisade neighbors can quickly rebuild. We will work with our state partners to change the law where it's needed to streamline the rebuilding process. And starting next week, we will open a one-stop rebuilding office where residents can go for every question related to rebuilding and process their permit applications. All 12 Development Services Office will be represented 7 days a week, and the general managers of most of those departments are here today. Let me ask Janice Quinones, Los Angeles Department of Water and Power. Please raise your hand. Our Planning Director, Vince Bertoni. General Manager, Keith Mose, Bureau of Street Services. Osama Yonan, Department of Building and Safety. General Manager, John Reamer, Bureau of Contract Management, and Vahid Korsan, the President of the Board of Public Works. The general managers are here today. Each of their offices will be represented in the one-stop center, so Palisadians can go to this one-stop center and get everything they need in one location. So we are going to stand up phone lines and online resources to make things even more convenient. We're going to focus on basic economic success for Palisades residents and workers, continuing to provide assistance to displaced homeowners who have lost their jobs, fighting to eliminate unnecessary and unfair permitting rules. So we have more work to do, and I will be working with my state, county, and city partners to explore innovative ways to provide relief swiftly, including state legislation if that's needed. I spoke with the governor a couple of weeks ago, and I asked him to act on 2 things, and I'm here to say he has already done that. We wanted a streamlined rebuild verification process that would allow homeowners to access as-built plans and confirm like-for-like rebuilding entitlement, which means if you're going to rebuild what was already there, you can do it even quicker. Also, we asked for automatic reissuing of permits for all homes, giving people the right to build again exactly what they had before. And I will work with the City Council to explore many building permits and planning fees. So we have already waived some, but in discussion with the general managers, there's a lot of fees all over the place. We need to evaluate those fees and see which ones that we can waive. We'll work with the City Council as necessary. Hopefully I can waive many of the fees through my executive authority. And I'm also going to work with Jeff Prang, our county assessor, to provide more tax relief for businesses beyond the business tax waivers we've already done. We want to look at property tax relief, rebates on all utility bills for impacted businesses and residents. So this is only the beginning. We are going to rebuild the Palisades, we are going to get Palisadians home, and we are going to build Los Angeles back to being the #1 city in the country. Thank you very much.